In downtown Gastonia, it's the Big 50 Parade celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools. The Big 50 Parade is presented by American and Eford, Beam Construction Company, Caramont Health, the City of Gastonia, the Gaston County Education Foundation, GSM Services, Scribble Software, and Wells Fargo. And now, here are your hosts for the Big 50 Parade, Todd Higgins and Valerie Yatko.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. I'm Todd Higgins along with Valerie Yatko, and we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools with a parade.
That's right, Todd. It's our golden anniversary, and we have a big parade coming your way today.
Our parade features 90 entries, and that includes 10 marching bands, cheerleaders, dance teams, JROTC units, special guests, and so much more.
Plus, we're going to see a lot of familiar faces, and we have a few surprises.
We are coming to you from Main Avenue in downtown Gastonia, right behind the First United Methodist Church. That's where our review area is set up. Now, the parade route is about a half-mile long, and it moves from west to east, beginning at Chester Street and continuing down Main Avenue to Broad Street.
That's right. As Todd described, the parade follows the same route as the Gaston County Christmas Parade. We have a lot of people on the sidewalks right now anticipating this great parade, which will be passing by very soon.
Now, Valerie, you mentioned the Gastonia Christmas Parade, and you also mentioned that we have a few surprises today. Traditionally, at the end of the Christmas Parade, you have Santa Claus as the special guest. Well, today we do not have Santa Claus, but we do have a special guest with us.
Yes, and our special guest is on the very last float and has come out of retirement just for our 50th anniversary.
He was very popular in Gaston County Schools back in the mid-1990s, the late 1990s, but he hasn't worked in about 20 years. So he is back with us to help us celebrate our Big 50 anniversary and is a part of this wonderful parade, and he'll be on the very last float in the parade.
Looking forward to that. So let's talk about who's at the beginning of the parade, Todd.
Valerie, anytime you have a parade that is led by your grand marshals. Our grand marshals for our Big 50 parade, the grand marshals are seniors in the class of 2019 and kindergartners in the class of 2031, serving today as our grand marshals to lead our parade. And we also have, let's mention that, Valerie, we also have an honorary Grand Marshal.
We do, yes. And she's been getting a lot of attention this week. And I'm speaking of Miss Mamie Chisholm, who teaches French at Ashbrook High School. And Mamie Chisholm began her teaching career here in Gaston County Schools in August of 1968.
That's incredible, Valerie, when you think about it. Teaching for 50 years, so it just makes sense to have Mamie Chisholm as our honorary Grand Marshal for the Big 50 Parade. We are just getting started here on Channel 21. The Big 50 Parade is on its way, making its way down Main Avenue in downtown Gastonia, and we will bring it to you when we come back right here on Channel 21.
Thank you for watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. The parade is our big community-wide celebration of the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools. In 1968, the county schools, the Gastonia City Schools, and the Cherryville Schools merged to form a unified school district in Gaston County. The 1968-69 school year was the very first for Gaston County Schools, and now, 50 years later, we're observing our golden anniversary with a year-long celebration. We would like to thank our presenting sponsors for making today's parade possible. They are American and Eford, Beam Construction Company, Caramont Health, the City of Gastonia, the Gaston County Education Foundation, GSM Services, Scribble Software, and Wells Fargo. Today's parade is for everyone in our community who has been associated with Gaston County Schools over the past 50 years. Thank you for supporting us and working together. The years to come will be the best ever for our schools right here in Gaston County.
Welcome back to the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. I'm Valerie Yatko.
And I'm Todd Hagans. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools with our Big 50 Parade taking place right here in downtown Gastonia. And the parade is moving right along behind us, and it is here. It's hard to believe it, Valerie, that our Big 50 Parade is underway here in downtown Gastonia. We have, like I said earlier, we have 90 entries that are going to be passing by here, and it is very exciting, an exciting way, Valerie, for us to celebrate 50 years of Gaston County Schools.
What a wonderful kickoff here. And here comes our students and our sign with our Big 50 Parade for Gaston County Schools. And Todd, who is this group coming up?
And those students leading us off, those are students from the Gaston County Virtual Academy. The Gaston County Virtual Academy, that is our newest school. It is an online school, virtual academy for students in grades 4 through 9. So the newest school in Gaston County Schools, they are leading us off today. The students from the Gaston County Virtual Academy.
There
and
we are.
they look great. They're excited and they look great. And Valerie, following them, we have representatives from each agency that provides school resource officers for our parade. And we're so glad to have all of these departments with us in the parade.
And look at the lineup of those cars, Todd, representing various municipalities and cities within Gaston County. And as you said, the resource officers, we are so appreciative of the work they do. And there is a resource officer in each and every one of our Gaston County schools.
And Valerie, that is made possible because of the awesome partnership that we have with law enforcement here in our community. At the county level and even at the city level, everyone coming together to make sure that our schools are as safe as they can be. And Valerie, we're one of the safest school systems, and that did not happen by chance. It's because of coordination and partnership with our law enforcement partners. And we're so glad to have them leading our parade today. They lead students in at graduation to have the resource officers with us, and it's wonderful to have them leading the parade. Our resource officers representing the various departments all across Gaston County with us today for the Big 50 Parade.
And what a long line that has been as we watch them pass by.
We are coming to you right near First United Methodist Church, and the parade is making its way down Main Avenue. And you will see there on the screen, we have the Ashbrook High School JROTC. They are carrying our large American flag, and that ROTC group, Valerie, they look great today.
They look sharp today. That flag, Todd, measures 18 feet by 12 feet, and it is carried by the cadets of the JROTC Air Force Division at Ashbrook High School.
That is awesome, and we're so glad to have them with us in the parade. And Valerie, we talked earlier about our Grand Marshals, and the Grand Marshals are right there on the float.
Oh, look
you
at
see
that.
them, our Grand Marshals for the Big 50 Parade. Those are our seniors representing our high schools, the seniors in the class of 2019. And you see the little ones on the float there, Valerie. Those are students, they're kindergartners. They are in the class of 2031, and those are students from Page Primary School.
2031, Todd. Imagine that. They're just beginning their school career.
Hard to believe, isn't it? And there she is, our honorary Grand Marshal, Mamie Chisholm from Ashbrook High School. She has been teaching in Gaston County Schools for 50 years, and we're so glad to have Mamie Chisholm with us. And then Valerie, following right behind Mrs. Chisholm, we have our People's Choice Marching Band from Stuart W. Kramer High School. We had an online vote over Labor Day, and Stuart Kramer won the vote, and they're leading our parade today as the 50th anniversary People's Choice Marching Band. Let's take a listen.
The Raging Storm.
And you see there, Valerie, with the Stuart W. Kramer High School Marching Band, we have the cheerleaders and members of the dance team. They are with the marching band. And I think we're going to see the Storm mascot. Yeah, there's the Storm mascot from Stuart W. Kramer High School, our People's Choice Marching Band for the 50th anniversary parade, our Big 50 parade. And there's our Superintendent of Schools, W. Jeffrey Booker, and his beautiful wife, Rhonda. It is wonderful to see them in the parade today. And don't they look good in that Ford Mustang, a vintage Ford Mustang from Natalie Tyndall. It's her Mustang right there. Doesn't it look great?
That looks sharp, and so does the superintendent and Mrs. Booker.
And Superintendent Booker, he is our 7th superintendent of Gaston County Schools, and we're so glad to have him with us, helping us to lead the parade. And up next, you will see members of the Gaston County Board of Education on the float. There's Chairman Kevin Collier. We see Lee Dedman. Dot Cherry is on the float, as well as I see Dot Guthrie's on the float. Justin Davis is there, and I think maybe Catherine Roberts is back there.
And Mr. Collier?
Mr. Collier's with us, and those are students from Belmont Central Elementary and McAdenville Elementary. And following behind is our former superintendent, L. Reeves McGlowan, and his granddaughter, Elizabeth. They are riding in style today. Mr. McGlowan served as our superintendent from 2006 until 2013, and it's good to see him today.
How wonderful to have him back with us.
And following Mr. McGlowan is Bobby Kavnar, teacher at South Point High School, and Bobby is the NEA Foundation's National Teacher of the Year. You don't have those very often.
We are so fortunate to have Bobby Kavanaugh as part of our Gaston County Schools family.
Teacher of the Year. And then we're seeing students walking in the parade, and then on the bus, those students are from Webb Street School. They are having a wonderful time here at the parade today from Webb Street.
I see some waving from the bus, and look they've got it all decorated, Todd.
And Webb Street's home of the Spiders. That's their mascot, and they've got it decorated with their magnets and their sign. Students from Webb Street School. And then next we see riding in the parade, Mayor of Gastonia, Walker Reed, and I think he's given the spotlight to Miss Gastonia there.
Looks like
he's over there in the passenger seat and has given Miss Gastonia his space in the parade. Miss Gastonia, Sophia Kelstrom, and of course Mayor Walker Reed, the mayor of Gastonia. And following behind Mayor Reed, we have members of the Gastonia City Council who are with us. We have Robert Kellogg, and Robert, I believe, represents Ward 1 on the City Council. And then we also have other members of the Gastonia City Council. Todd Pearsall and David Humphreys are with us today. And Valerie, we can't say enough good things about the city of Gastonia for helping to make this parade possible, and the City Council approving a proclamation honoring Gaston County Schools for 50 years, and also to recognize our 50th anniversary parade, our Big 50 parade. Yes. So thank you to the Gastonia City Council for all of their support, and the city of Gastonia for coming with us to make this happen.
Oh, Todd, look who's coming now.
And that, Valerie, I believe that is the Tiger from Trine Elementary School, the perfect place to learn. And following there, there's our vintage bus.
Our vintage school bus, our 1950s bus. Original bus number 1.
And those students are looking great. Now that bus, Valerie, was used as a bus at Tryon High School in the 1950s. So it's good to see them having a good time today. And there's Bonnie Reedy. Bonnie Reedy is having a great time in the parade. Bonnie, of course, served as the very first Public Information Officer and Communications Director for Gaston County Schools. And it's great to see Bonnie back with us today. And following Bonnie is Neb Hollis. Neb, he was the very first principal of East Gaston High School, and it's wonderful to see Mr. Neb Hollis with us today. And following Neb Hollis, those are members of the Gaston County Board of Commissioners with us. And they are on the float, the police boat from the Gaston County Police Department, and they are on the float with students from Sadler Elementary School. So they're having a great time. Next up, Valerie, we have the alumni group from Lincoln Academy and Lincoln High School. And this group Of course, a very important part of education here in Gaston County, Lincoln Academy and Lincoln High School. The Bessemer City Middle School is now used as the middle school, but it used to serve as Lincoln High School. So we're glad to have them with us. And now we have the marching band from Ashbrook High School, led by the color guard and the cheerleaders from Ashbrook High School and their marching band. Let's take a listen.
Let's take a listen.
From Ashbrook High School. Great sounds coming from Ashbrook High School, and following them are the cheerleaders from Bessemer City Middle School. They're having a great time today. Glad to have the Bessemer City Middle School cheerleaders with us in the Big 50 Parade. And now with us, we have
more special guests.
And that is Larry Petty. And Larry Petty, believe it or not, Valerie, I understand, Mr. Petty served on the committee that studied the consolidation of the three district school systems into one. And then in the 1970s, Mr. Petty served on the Gaston County Board of Education. So we're glad to have Larry Petty,
very important part of the history of the school consolidation.
Also with us, you will see there behind Mr. Petty, is Iris Rowe. Listen to this. Iris Rowe served as the executive secretary for 4 superintendents: Bill Brown, Zane Ergel, George McSwain, and Eddie West, and she also served as the Board of Education clerk. So imagine the stories Iris Rowe could tell us about Gaston County Schools. And
here comes a good-looking float, Todd.
I think this is former members of the Board of Education, and they are with students from Cherryville Elementary and W. Blaine Beam Intermediate School. And I see Mark Upchurch and Mark Stevens. There's Jennifer Davis, and I believe Ron Hovis is on that float, and there are a few others up there on that float, our former Board of Education members. And right behind them is the Bessemer City High School Marching Band.
Let's listen to the band.
Bessemer City High School Marching Band, and then you see the Bessemer City High School cheerleaders, home of the Yellow Jackets.
Home of the Yellow Jackets, and here they come.
And they are looking great and having a good time today from Bessemer City High School. So glad to have them with us. And you will see following right behind Bessemer City High School, we have the cheerleaders from John Chavis Middle School in Cherryville.
We're so happy to have representatives from every single Gaston County school in this parade, Todd. Cheerleaders, bands, and students from all of our schools.
All 55 schools are represented in the parade. And there's the Wolverine. There's the John Chavis Middle School mascot, home of the Wolverines. And you see them riding there in the parade today from John Chavis Middle School in Cherryville. You are watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools, and we've got a great day for a parade here in downtown Gastonia. Valerie.
Todd. The weather's been beautiful, and of course we're so appreciative of all our sponsors. Each band has a sponsor, and we'll be talking more about that. And here comes another special guest.
There's Megan Lefevers. Megan Lefevers is the principal at Trine Elementary School, the new principal at Trine Elementary School. But Megan won the Milken Educator Award. That's a national award, and she was the winner for 2017-18, the only person in North Carolina that won that prestigious national award. So we're glad to highlight Megan Lefevre's our Milken Educator Award winner in the parade. And then I believe we have one of our school mascots with us, I think from Beam Intermediate School. And look, there's Dixie Abernathy. Dixie Abernathy, one of our former assistant superintendents, and Dixie was the State Teacher of the Year in 1992. And we also have another State Teacher of the Year. There's Scott Griffin. Scott was the North Carolina Teacher of the Year in 1996. Glad to have Dixie Abernathy and Scott Griffin back with us. And now you see on the screen the Cherryville High School Marching Band.
And here comes another great band. Let's take a listen.
Cherryville High School Marching Band, home of the Ironmen,
Home of the
Valerie,
Ironmen,
and
followed by their color guard.
Yeah, there's the color guard, and I believe the cheerleaders are back there from Cherryville High School. They are looking great today and sounding great too, Valerie.
Every one of these bands sounds wonderful. Can you imagine 10 high school bands all on the same street?
10 high school bands in the parade today. I don't think that there's ever been any other parade in Gaston County that has had 10 marching bands in the parade. I think we've set a record here today with our marching bands. And looking there at the Cherryville Ironman cheerleaders, and following behind the Cherryville Ironman cheerleaders, we have Carmen Adams from Belmont Central Elementary School. She is the current Gaston County Teacher of the Year. Teacher at Belmont Central Elementary, and I think she's having a good time today.
Looks like she is
Carmen
having a good
Adams,
time.
our Gaston County Teacher of the Year for 2018-2019.
Riding in a nice vehicle there too. We're so appreciative of all the owners of the convertibles who loan those to us for the parade.
They are helping us out today. And following Carmen, we have a float, one of two floats that we have in the parade, featuring some of our former Gaston County Teachers of the Year. I see Ann Harrelson there, and Dina Murphy's up on the float, and we've got a few others, maybe April Collins, and there are some others of our former Gaston County Teachers of the Year. And
Beth
this float,
Suber, there she is.
It's Beth Suber on the float, and then they've got students on the float with them as well. And I think
Bessemer City Primary
students.
And Bessemer City Central.
And that float is, of course, sponsored by the Go Outside campaign from the Gaston County Travel and Tourism Agency. And look who's with us today. Gary Henry is here.
Todd.
He is a good friend of Gaston County Schools, longtime principal at Hunter Huss High School, and he also won the State Principal of the Year honor. Gary Henry back with us today for the Big 50 Parade. And Valerie, here is one of our school buses. We saw bus number 1, the bus from 1950 in the parade. Now this is one of our brand new school buses. We got it this spring. Bus 500 is in the parade. One of our brand new school buses, and there's students on board from Pinewood and Rankin Elementary Schools. And following right behind, we have East Gaston High School, the marching band.
All right,
from
make
East
way
Gaston
for East Gaston High School marching band.
Gaston High School Marching Band is with us today, and following right behind the band you have members of the cheerleading squad, and I think maybe members of the dance team at East Gaston High School. And following right behind East Gaston, we have the cheerleaders from Mount Holly Middle School. And you see the Mount Holly Middle School, there's the Hawk. They're the home of the Hawks at Mount Holly Middle School, and we're glad to have them with us today.
Here comes
and next
more
we have
guest, Todd.
Special guest with us. We have Lorenzo and Vivian Taylor in the car. Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, they have been with Gaston County Schools. They've been with us for many years, and it's good to see them back with them. Of course, Mrs. Taylor was a teacher and I think worked in our exceptional children's department, and then Lorenzo was a longtime principal. And then we have Joanne Curvin in the car. Joanne Curvin was our Martha Gomer Spirit Award winner for school nutrition for the state of North Carolina. And Valerie, there behind Joanne, we saw the Cramerton cheerleaders. And now we have one of our high school pageant queens with us in the parade. I believe, Valerie.
Would that be from Stuart Kramer?
I think it is Miss Stuart W. Kramer High School with us. Paige Valigo is with us today, and she looks great. She looks like she's having a good time. Several of our schools have high school pageants, and we're glad to have Miss Stuart W. Kramer High School with us today. And I mentioned, Valerie, that we have two Gaston County Teacher of the Year floats. This is our second float of our Teachers of the Year, and you see Beth Crosby and Thomas Pleshnick there. I believe Mindy Mamano is on the float. Julian Wilson is up top, and Rebecca O'Brien, they're on the float, and there's a few others over on the other side, and with them are students from North Belmont Elementary School and Catawba Heights Elementary School.
Todd, these are some sharp-looking floats that have been passing by.
The floats look wonderful. We have 13 floats in our parade today, and of course our Teacher of the Year floats, they are sponsored by the Go Outside campaign and Gaston County Travel and Tourism. Here is the Forest View High School Marching Band. Let's listen to them as they come by our review area from Forest View High School. Forest View High School Marching Band. They are sponsored in today's parade by Tyndall Ford Subaru Roush, and also Tyndall Ford sponsored the Ashbrook Band.
They did.
And Stuart W. Kramer was sponsored by Far Yarns. We have seen the Cherville Band sponsored by Beam Construction Company. And East Gaston, their band was sponsored by Will's Food Store. And Zaxby's sponsors the Bessemer City High School Band. And there are the Forest View High School cheerleaders having a great time today in our Big 50 parade here in downtown Gastonia. And you will see right there are students from the Gaston Early College High School. The Gaston Early College is a partnership with Gaston College, and they're carrying our sponsor signs, our sponsorship signs that you heard about earlier, our 8 presenting sponsors in the parade that you heard our superintendent talk about earlier, and we're glad to have them recognized in the parade. And following behind the Gaston Early College High School, we have the Gastonia Fire Department represented in a shiny red fire engine there, passing by, and then the 2 fire trucks with them, the flatbed fire trucks with them, carrying students from Woodhill Elementary School. I believe those are the Woodhill Elementary students there. And then the second truck that you're going to see, they are carrying employees, faculty and staff from Warlick Academy. So there is Warlick Academy in our parade today.
Again, we are so excited, Todd, to have representation from every single one of our 54 Gaston County schools in our parade today.
And I believe we now have, Valerie, I think that's Miss Hunter Huss High School with us. Shamari Smith is with us, and we're so glad to have Miss Hunter Huss High School with us today. We have, like I mentioned, we have several of the high school pageant queens with us, and it's good to see Miss Hunter Huss High School. You are watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Gastonia Mayor Walker Reed, and it is a pleasure to host the Big 50 Parade in downtown Gastonia. I'm so proud of Gastonia and what we are achieving to strengthen our community. Our downtown is growing with new businesses and residential space, and we are very excited about how the Fuse District and other redevelopment projects will transform the area. The City Council and everyone associated with the City of Gastonia are pleased to join me in congratulating Gaston County Schools on 50 years of excellence in education. We are very proud of our schools, and we are happy to have the Big 50 Parade marching along Main Avenue in downtown Gastonia.
It's the Big 50 Parade coming to you from downtown Gastonia here on Channel 21, and we're looking at our next float, Valerie, and these are retirees from Gaston County Schools on our float. And Valerie, we would need a big calculator if we counted up all of the hours, the years of service given by our retirees there on the float, and some of our retirees on the float today. And the retirees have students from Costner Elementary and Carr Elementary School with them. And behind them in the truck, big, what I call a monster truck, Valerie, there's that mascots from Carr Elementary and Costner Elementary Schools. And then we have Miss North Gaston High School with us. This is Grace Pagan, and it's wonderful to see Grace, Miss North Gaston High School, with us today. This is the Big 50 Parade celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools coming to you. And next we have with us the Highland School of Technology Band. And following right behind the band, Highland is a National Blue Ribbon School award winner for 2017. So they've got their banner there. Their cheerleaders are with them. They have members of the Highland High School alumni group. They have them there, and their mascots there on the truck from the Highland School of Technology, and we appreciate them being with us in the band from Highland School of Technology. They are sponsored by Mon Hummel. Glad to have them as a sponsor of one of our bands.
And you mentioned the Blue Ribbon School. That's quite a distinction.
It is a distinction. Only 6 schools in North Carolina received that award last year, only 342 across the country. National Blue Ribbon School is one of the most prestigious awards that a school can receive, and we have one in the Highland School of Technology. Actually, Highland's our third school. We've had some previous schools.
And there is the principal of Highland School of Technology.
The principal there, Denise McLean. And she is the principal there at Highland, our National Blue Ribbon School, and she's having a great time today.
And also our principal of the year for Gaston County.
She is the current principal of the year. And following on the float behind her, we have some of our former principals of the year on the float. There's Butch Adams and Torben Ross and Joey Clinton, Rebecca Duncan, Johnny Biles, Robert Carpenter, James Montgomery, I think Sherry Reynolds and Rebecca Huffstetler, and
quite a few. And the students on the float are from Springfield and Kaiser Elementary School.
There were a lot of people on that float, Valerie. I couldn't name them all. There were so many of them. All right, we've got one of our cheerleading groups here, and this is from Stanley Middle School. Right. Our cheerleaders from Stanley Middle School. Glad to have them with us. And following behind them, Valerie, I think we have some of our Kia of Gastonia outstanding educators. We do. There's John Stone. John Stone won the award last year, our 2017 Kia of Gastonia outstanding educator. And I think that might be, there's Stevie Anderson. Stevie Anderson, our 2014 winner in those Kias from Kia of Gastonia that they won.
So appreciative.
They won as part of our Kia Outstanding Educator program.
And we thank Kia for giving those cars to those outstanding educators, and they will continue that program this year.
And there, Valerie, on your screen, you see members of the central office, the Gaston County Central Office, that they are representing us, along with students from Gardner Park, Sherwood, and New Hope Elementary School, representatives from the Gaston County School Central Office. And now, the Hunter Huss High School Marching Huskies Band cheerleaders are with us from Hunter Huss High School. And Hunter Huss, the band, is sponsored today by Lanxess, and one of our other great business partners with the sponsoring Hunter Huss today. And we see the Hunter Huss High School cheerleaders. The ROTC from Hunter Huss High School is with us. And we'll see that band. I hear them back there.
I can hear them.
We will see the band make their way by us in just a few minutes. You're watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary with Gaston County Schools with a parade. And we're so glad to have you with us, Todd Hagans, along with Valerie Yatko. And here are members of the ROTC from Hunter Huss High School. Glad they're looking sharp today.
They are looking
sharp, Valerie. And then here is the Hunter Huss High School Marching Band. behind Hunter Huss High School. Hunter Huss High School is the first school in Gaston County to have a career academy. And so we have the fire truck from the Career Academy riding in the parade, and some students from the academy, and there's a fire technology program as part of the Career Academy, and so they've got their fantastic fire truck. It was donated to them by the Crowder's Mountain Fire and Rescue. It's a retired fire truck from the Career Academy at Hunter Huss High School. And riding next, we have Tim Harden. Tim Harden is the counselor at Sadler Elementary School, but Tim is also the president of the State School Counselors Association. So we're glad to have him with us. And then Bethany Jennings. Bethany is the choral director at Stuart W. Kramer High School, and she's the president-elect of the State Choral Association for Schools. So we're glad to have her with us today. You are watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Thank you, American Effort.
Thank you, Beam Construction.
Thank you, Caramont Health.
Thank you, City of Gastonia.
Thank you, Gaston County Education Foundation. Thank you, GSM Services.
Thank you, Scribble Software.
Thank you,
Wells Fargo.
Thank you for sponsoring the Big 50 Parade.
Welcome back to the Big 50 Parade, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools here on Channel 21. I'm Todd Hagans along with Valerie Yatko. And Valerie, our next float that you see, that is the float that features members of our teaching faculty that are National Board Certified Teachers. It's one of the rigorous, most prestigious honors that a teacher can earn, and we're so glad to have our National Board Certified Teachers with us today, representing that group on the float today, and they are riding with students from Lingerfeld Elementary School and H.H. Beam Elementary School, and we've got one of the school mascots there with them, with the float, our National Board Certified Teachers. And following right behind them is the cheerleaders. York Chester Middle School. Our cheerleaders from York Chester. And I believe we also have the York Chester. There is the York Chester mascot, home of the Cougars.
Looking proud.
York Chester Middle School, home of the Cougars. And we're glad to have them with us today from York Chester Middle School. You're watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. And Valerie, we've had a great parade.
We have, Todd, and there's so much enthusiasm in the crowd, as well as the students who have really brought their energy and their talents to this parade.
It's a warm day, but that is not taken away from the energy that we are seeing here in downtown Gastonia with our Big 50 Parade for Gaston County Schools. Yeah. And there we have another one of our cheerleading units. That's Southwest Middle School, and they are followed by Greer Middle School in the parade. So good to see them today, some of our middle school cheerleaders with us. And that lady there, she's got her umbrella with us. And that's very smart.
She came prepared today, didn't she, Todd?
A shade from the sun. And there you see.
And there's the Greer Knight.
There's the Knights, home of the Knights from Greer Middle School. They have their mascot with us from Greer Middle School. And now, Valerie, up next with the Big 50 Parade, we have North Gaston High School, the marching band from North Gaston High School. And North Gaston, the band is sponsored today in the parade by Will's Food Store. And Will's also sponsored the East Gaston band, two of our bands in the parade.
Will's has 8 stores in Gaston County, Todd, and we are so grateful for the support for not one but 2 bands.
Great sponsorship.
And
great sponsorship.
Folks at Will's Food Store.
And let's see if North Gaston's going to play us something here. I think so. Let's take a listen to the North Gaston High School marching band. And along with the North Gaston Band are the dance team members. And then followed right behind them, Valerie, we have the cheerleaders from W.C. Friday Middle School.
Right, W.C. Friday in Dallas.
That's right. And the cheerleaders, of course, from W.C. Friday. And I believe, Valerie, they have their mascot. You know, they're the home of the Cavaliers.
That's right.
At W.C. Friday. And I think their mascot is with them as well. I think they're in that truck right there. We'll take a look at them as they get a little bit closer
as
to
they
us.
Roll up
there's the Cavalier from W.C. Friday Middle School riding in the truck. They really decorated their truck. That looks
went
great,
all
Valerie.
Out, didn't they?
You're watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. Of course, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools, and our parade is coming to you along Main Avenue in downtown Gastonia. And we're having a great time today, Valerie, with our long-time employees on this float. The employees that you're seeing on the float today, Valerie, they have at least 35 years of service on that float. We see a lot of familiar faces on there. There's Diane Leeser from Bessemer City High School on the float. She's having a great time, Valerie, and a number of our other long-time employees. They have more than 35 years of service, and they're still teaching. They're still working, Valerie.
Right.
So it's great.
And not only teachers, but several from other departments in Gaston County Schools who have had long-time employees.
And there's the Hawk. I think that's the Hawk from Hawk's Nest Steam Academy in the parade. And we've got another one of our brand new school buses. And on that bus, we have students from Lowell Elementary School and Brookside Elementary School. And you will see following right behind them, there's Spike the Bulldog. He is the mascot.
W.A. Bess. Hello, Spike.
Everybody recognized Spike the Bulldog from W.A. Bess Elementary School. And right behind Spike, we have our float with some of our Employees of the Year, winning some of our Employee of the Year. There's Carrie Minnick. Carrie Minnick's our Central Office Employee of the Year. And we've got Taylor Park, our new Teacher of the Year. And there's Angie Yount.
And I see Amon Sultan, Social Worker of the Year.
Yeah, we've got a lot of them on that float. They were full. And then following behind our Employees of the Year, we have the mascot from Holbrook Middle School. Holbrook's the home of the Lions. And then we see the Holbrook Middle School cheerleaders with us today. Having a great time.
Lots of spirit here today.
Lots of spirit, lots of energy, lots of excitement with our Big 50 Parade coming to you from downtown Gastonia here on a warm afternoon, but no rain, Valerie. We didn't want any rain for our parade.
On a sunny afternoon in downtown Gastonia.
We've got great weather for our parade. And now you're going to see members of the South Point High School Marching Band. There's members of the ROTC from South Point, and then we're going to see the cheerleaders coming to us from South Point High School over in Belmont, home of the Red Raiders. And followed behind the cheerleaders, you're going to see the South Point High School Marching Band. Hopefully they'll play something for us, Valerie. And
I am confident that they will. Here they come.
And South Point High School in the band, the parade today, their band is sponsored by Duke Energy, the Allen Steam Station, sponsoring South Point High School Band.
Let's listen.
The South Point High School Marching Band, Valerie, they sounded great.
That was a treat.
They sounded great for us today.
And they look sharp in their Red Raider uniforms.
They sure do. The Big 50 Parade coming to you from downtown Gastonia. Todd Higgins along with Valerie Yatko. And Valerie, I think that we have a few more units in the parade. And coming next, the Belmont Middle School cheerleaders and the Belmont Middle School Wildcat mascot in the parade.
Here they come.
Valerie, we've had a great day today. We have really enjoyed
It has been such a treat to be out here today, Todd. And again, to see all things good about Gaston County
That's
Schools.
Right. We are celebrating Gaston County Schools, our 50th anniversary, and we're going to celebrate all year long. And Valerie, we mentioned a special guest at the end of the parade.
Todd, is this the time?
And there he is. GC the Book Bug is back in Gaston County Schools.
Out of retirement. After several years.
20 or so years. GC is back, and he's got students from Pleasant Ridge Elementary School giving him a little bit of beat up on the float. GC the Book Bug is back, and he will be with us throughout our 50th anniversary year to promote reading and to promote our libraries and schools across Gaston County. GC the Book Bug is back in Gaston County Schools. Valerie, we will take a quick break and we will come back to wrap up the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Jasmine Lee.
And I'm Dalton Thomas.
We want to thank everyone who voted online to select the People's Choice Marching Band for the Big 50 Parade.
We were so excited when we found out we had won the vote. It really was an honor to lead today's parade.
Thank you for voting.
And thank you for making us your People's Choice Marching Band.
Welcome back to the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools. I'm Todd Hagans along with Valerie Yatko. And Valerie, didn't we have an awesome Big 50 Parade?
Todd, this has been the best. What a great day we've had. What great participation. What wonderful talents we've seen in our students. It's been a wonderful day.
It has been a wonderful day, Valerie, and to kick off our year-long celebration of 50 years for Gaston County Schools, the consolidated or the unified school district. And people ask us, Valerie, why 50 years? I thought Gaston County Schools was around longer than 50 years. But in 1968, the county schools and the Gastonia City Schools and the Cherville City Schools, they merged, they were consolidated into the unified Gaston County School District. So the 1968-1969 school year, that was the first year for the unified Gaston County Schools. That's why we're celebrating 50 years, and we are going to celebrate all year long with a big kickoff today for our community, the Big 50 Parade here in downtown Gastonia, Valerie.
This has been a wonderful experience, I think, for our students, for our staff, teachers, and for the community as well. Just judging by the number of people that have come out today and lined the sidewalks. And what a treat they had watching the bands perform, watching some of the surprises, honoring some of our former employees and our longtime employees and the students and all the people that make up Gaston County Schools.
Valerie, it was a great parade. And Valerie, this parade would not have been possible without the generous, and I mean generous, support of some of our sponsors. And I want to mention those sponsors now. American and Eford, Cindy Easterday and her team at American Eford, Beam Construction Company, Susie Lewis in Cherville, Caramont Health, Chris Peak and everyone at Caramont Health, GSM Services, Joel and Stephen Long, the Gaston County Education Foundation, Amy Spencer and everyone associated with the Education Foundation, Scribble Software, and we know Scribbles as AIS, Advanced Imaging Systems, Matt Solomon.
That's right.
Wells Fargo, Pamela Gaff, and the tremendous support from the city of Gastonia. Without these 8 presenting sponsors, this parade would not have happened. So we express our sincere appreciation to American and Eford, Beam Construction Company, Caramont Health, GSM Services, the Gaston County Education Foundation, Scribble Software, and Wells Fargo, along with our in-kind sponsor from the city of Gastonia. We appreciate you so much for joining us to help us celebrate Gaston County Schools in a big way with our Big 50 Parade. And In addition to those sponsors, Valerie, we had sponsors for our bands and several of our floats, and I want to mention them again. Those floats are moving by really quickly.
They did go by.
And so we want to mention our band and float sponsors one more time. The Teachers of the Year, those 2 floats for our Teachers of the Year, that was sponsored by the Go Outside campaign, the Gaston County Travel and Tourism. And then our bands, the Cherryville Band, sponsored by Beam Construction Company. The South Point Band, sponsored by Duke Energy, Allenstein Steam Station. Hunter Huss Band, sponsored by Lanxess. The Highland Band, sponsored by Mon Hummel. And one thing about the Highland Band, Highland doesn't have a marching band, but those students decided this summer that they were going to learn how to march so they could be in this parade. So that says a lot about our students in the band program at Highland, saying we're going to be in that parade, we're going to learn to march, and they did it, and they looked great.
They did a wonderful job.
They did.
Too.
Also mentioning Far Yarn, sponsoring Stuart W. Kramer High School's band. That was our People's Choice marching band that led off the parade. Tyndall Ford, Subaru, Roush, Natalie Tyndall, sponsoring not 1 but 2 bands, Ashbrook High School and Forest View High School band. Will's Food Store, Will's also sponsoring 2 of our bands, East Gaston and the North Gaston bands, and of course Bob Gleason and his team at Zaxby's sponsoring the Bessemer City High School bands. So thank you to our band and float sponsors for making it happen, to make sure that we could pay for the transportation to get our bands here today to participate. And like we said earlier, Valerie, I don't think any parade in Gaston County has ever had 10 high school marching bands in it. So we made history today.
I think we did, Todd.
With all of our marching bands.
We're so fortunate to have such wonderful business sponsors and community sponsors and supporters here in Gaston County.
And Valerie, our sponsors, we told them we'd be celebrating 50 years and we needed their help with the sponsorship, and they stepped up in a big way, more than we ever imagined. So thank you to all of our sponsors for the parade. And Valerie, there are so many people that we have to thank for this parade, making it happen. This did not happen overnight. We began planning this parade in January. And so members of our 50th anniversary planning committee, they came together and started talking about a parade. Met with the city of Gastonia, and it took a lot of effort and a lot of hard work, and it has happened, and it's a great celebration for Gaston County Schools. So Valerie, we have once again, let's thank the city of Gastonia for all of their support for our Big 50 parade. And Valerie, I have to thank the communications department, Valerie Yatko, for all of your help with this parade, Tom Ninsetti for doing everything to bring you this broadcast, along with Sean Corcoran, Brad Evans, David Lovato helping behind the cameras to make this broadcast possible. I also have to thank Charlotte Wright in our office, Allison Drennan, Maurice Johnson, and Jenny Blanton in the communications department. And we had several others, Valerie, and you know I always get in trouble when I start mentioning people by name, but I do have to mention Susie Bradley and Scott Castle and Philip Ratchford for stepping up to being our coordinators here on Parade Day at the beginning of the route and at the end of the route, and there are so many others. We put a team of volunteers together, about 75 people. We put them together, and that doesn't include all of our facilities from our facilities department.
That's right.
And our transportation department doing a tremendous job to make sure that all of the students showed up on buses and left on buses, really coordinating the transportation. So a big shout out to our transportation and facilities departments, all of our sponsors for all of their support for this parade, and everyone involved with this parade. Hundreds of people have been involved, from our schools, the central office, our volunteers. It really has been a team effort when you think about our students, our principals, our teachers, other employees acting as chaperones and volunteers, all of our special guests, everyone with us. They have been simply amazing to work with, and to pull this off, I am so grateful for the team that I work with, because they made this happen. So a big thank you to everyone for making the Big 50 Parade happen here in downtown Gastonia to celebrate Gaston County Schools.
Well, and Todd, if you will allow me to say thank you to you, because your vision and your fine planning, this went off and it looked very smooth, and I think part of the reason it came off so smoothly is because of the details and the vision that you had for this to happen. You had that idea and vision, and it came to pass today, and it was wonderful.
Well, Valerie, thank you for that. It was a vision of mine to have a parade, but to make that vision a reality, it took a lot of people to help us, and so I am so appreciative to everyone who have helped us with the Big 50 Parade for Gaston County Schools. And Valerie, I appreciate you co-hosting with me today.
Well,
we've had a great time here in our parade review booth right outside of First United Methodist Church, and a shout out to First United Methodist Church here in Gastonia for allowing us to use their theater building for our broadcast. We really appreciate First United Methodist Church for supporting our parade.
Todd, I cannot remember having a better time. This has been great. And this is probably my debut, I guess, and so thank you for the opportunity to do this.
It has been wonderful, and we appreciate all of you watching the Big 50 Parade here on Channel 21. And stay tuned to Channel 21 all year long. We're going to have more things that will celebrate the Big 50 anniversary for Gaston County Schools. Our parade is just the kickoff for our year-long celebration, and we hope all of you have enjoyed the Big 50 Parade from downtown Gastonia. Be sure to visit the Gaston County Schools website for more information about our Big 50 celebration and all of the activities and events that will be coming your way this year as Gaston County Schools celebrates 50 years of excellence in education this year. Valerie, thank you so very much. For Valerie Yatko, I'm Todd Hagans. For everyone involved with our parade, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.